Hey, it's Vicky, and today I'm here to talk about the books that I'm hoping to read in the month of May. It's kind of a smaller TBR this month. I have 4 books that I for sure know I want to read, so let's get into it. The first book that I want to read in May is actually one I had planned to read in April, and because of a slump is really all I can really say. I was a little slumpy in April, like the second half of April, and so I didn't get around to this book. And I still definitely want to read it though, and that is The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. And this was an anticipated read for me. I pre-ordered this. I really enjoy Simone St. James's books because they are thrillery mystery type books with a supernatural twist usually. And she is really good at doing that supernatural stuff, I have to say. So far, of the books I've read of hers, I feel like she always delivers there. And this one is about a woman named, what is her name? I don't know. Anyway, she runs a podcast on true crimes. And she gets this opportunity to interview this woman who back in the 70s was acquitted of these, I think it was 2 like cold case murders. And she gets this opportunity to interview this woman for her podcast. And so she goes to this woman's house, and she lives in this like old mansion, and gets there and pretty sure it's haunted. And it just kind of goes from there. So it's, like I said, it's gonna have the good mystery vibes. It's gonna have the creepy supernatural vibes. So it should be a lot of fun. I'm really bummed that I didn't read this in April because, like I said, this is on my anticipated reads list. I really want to get to this one. My next May read is one that if you watched my book haul revisit, you already know about. But I did a book haul revisit in April and picked a book from that book haul that I revisited. I had 2 unread books from that book haul and picked one to put on my May TBR. And the one that I got was Wondersmith, The Calling of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. This is the 2nd book in the Nevermore series. And I was really actually surprised that this book came up and that it has already been 2 years since I hauled this book, because I bought it right after I read Nevermore and was like, yep, I definitely want to read the 2nd book, and here I am 2 years later, haven't read it. So I don't really know what's going to happen in this one because it is the 2nd book in a series, but it's about, for those of you that don't know what this series is, it's about a young girl named Morrigan who is cursed. She's like a cursed kid, and part of her curse was that like when she turned, I think it was 11, she was supposed to die on her like 11th birthday. But instead, she gets whisked away to this magical land called Nevermore, and the story just sort of takes off from there. And I really enjoyed the 1st book. I thought it was a lot of fun. It had kind of like all the magical stuff that you would expect, but then it also had kind of that like competitive game element to it also that made it really cool. So I have no idea, like I mentioned in that book haul revisit, I think I'm gonna have to read like a recap of the 1st book because it has been 2 years and I don't remember a ton of what happened. So yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then I think I'm gonna try this on audio because I've heard the audiobooks are awesome. So yeah, I will be reading this one and let you know what I thought of it. And then the next book that I'm gonna be reading is for the Buzzword Reading Challenge, which was to read a book with like directional words in the title. So I decided to go with Leave the World Behind. That's a directional word, right? We're gonna go with it. And this is by Rumaan Alam, and this is a thriller, I wanna say, about this couple and their kids. They are staying in this sort of, it's like an Airbnb situation, I'm guessing, and they are on Long Island kind of enjoying a vacation, and then the owners of the home show up. And they're an older black couple, and they show up and are telling the family that things in the city in New York, there's been a blackout, things are getting crazy, they're really scared. And they came basically to their rental property, I'm assuming, for like refuge. And so they kind of have to like stay together, and the people staying in the house, the renters, they're like not sure if they believe the couple, like what's going on. So I don't know. I've heard mixed things about this book. I've heard people say they didn't like it, and then I know Lala loved this book over Books and Lala. I don't know where I'm gonna fall. I'll let you know. And then the last book on my TBR for May is one that I picked for the BookTube spin that happened in the middle of April. There were 2 books that I had made a list of 20 books. 2 numbers were picked, and the 2 books I got, I have to read by the end of June. So I figured I might as well put one on my May TBR to make sure I could knock it out. And that one, the first one is Gollum Girl by Riva Lair, and this is a memoir about Riva, who is an artist. And she was born in the 50s, the late 50s. She was born with spina bifida, and as she was being raised by her parents, they were always telling her that like she's very fragile and you can't do certain things, you're never gonna be normal. They tried to kind of like shelter her a lot. And when she became an adult, and like I said, she's an artist, she met a group of artists who basically kind of helped to change her mind about the way that she thought about her disability and just her, basically everything that like she was kind of taught growing up. Where in this group of artists, they kind of were like, no, we're gonna reject all of those ideas that just people with disabilities are weak or whatever, and you can use your disability for creative purposes and things like that. So this seems like it's gonna be really interesting. It's a very hefty book. Like the pages are very thick, and just like flipping through it, there's a lot of artwork and stuff in here to kind of like coincide, I'm assuming, with her story, because like I said, she is an artist. So I think that's gonna be really cool just to kind of like visually see some of the work that she has done as she tells her story. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I'm glad that it was a BookTube spin book, because I have had this on my shelves for at least a year. So I'm glad that I'm finally gonna be reading it. All right guys, so those are my reading plans for May. Please let me know down below what you are planning to read in May. Just for funsies, if you're doing the Buzzword reading challenge, what book did you pick? Because I would love to know. And yeah, I guess that's it. I hope you guys have a wonderful month, and I will talk with you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.